I'm here at Universal Studios. I've decided to do the VIP tour. All the people are starting to get into the place. I just met our tour guide, Malcolm. He looks really cool. And we get a really hands-on look at the movie making facility here at Universal. And I guess also we get all the VIP rides later on. So this should be a really good day. I'm looking forward to it. Been looking forward to it for months. VIP experience here at Universal. I made the mistake of having a big breakfast, as you do in America, before I came to the VIP tour, to realise that there was so much food that you could pretty much get away with breakfast there as part of the starting point of your tour. We met Malcolm, our guide, and it was off we went.
Guest relations right here, I got to point it out. Any lost items, any questions, anything after I say goodbye, this is where they will send you. So, location-wise, now you know. Otherwise, alright, so I will also say as well, this was all Halloween Horror Nights yesterday, so the very first time you can see the Hollywood signs would have been redone. If anyone wants photos, that film is part of Chicago. It was used in Gone Girl with Ben Affleck, the one at the very end. They're doing some construction down the stairs, but that's where he lived. They moved out of the apartment in one part. The same spot where Bruce lived, also used in a movie I'm sure a lot of people have seen, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. That is Kevin's uncle's apartment where he hides out. He said it's all the traps and stuff. So the exterior scenes, there's a few scenes where they're outside, but there's one scene in particular where Kevin's at the top. And he's dropping the bricks. Yeah, exactly. When you see Kevin at the top, though, this is a nighttime scene. This is a scene that we call day for night. Actually, in reality, when Macaulay Culkin's up there, because child actors can't work at night, they covered the area with a black tarp. So when you see Kevin at the top, it's actually the middle of the day, but we just make it look like it's night up there, and you would never know the difference at home. They cut back to the street when they're getting hit by the bricks, actually at nighttime. They use foam bricks. We like Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. We don't want to actually hurt them. We'll put those two scenes together, cut them together so it all looks like one fluid time. And the editing is a big portion of movies. I'm sure people know that. But that one scene probably shot weeks ahead of time. Macaulay Culkin as a kid could only work for a few hours a day, so they'd do as much as they could with him, and then they'd come back at night and film with Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern because they can work as late as they want because they're adults. But a lot of these buildings, you can kind of see through some of the windows here, are facades, kind of empty shells. Anytime that we show actors inside their home or apartment or anything like that, we're going to build it one of those sound stages. A little bit easier to control those environments. Now we're going to see the regular tram drive around a lot, especially while we're out here. Feel free to wave at it. They don't know that we're not famous, so go crazy. Anybody watch The Voice, the singing show? Everyone knows kind of what it is, yeah? The Voice films actually nearby, that sound stages. But first dozen seasons or so on that show, they would be like, hey, we're doing our auditions in Los Angeles, and people would usually talk about how they got to become to sing and why they're auditioning, things like that. And then they'd walk into a big glass building. Well, this is it. And so as soon as they would go in to be like, I'm gonna do my audition, anytime that you see actors grab a handle, it's gonna open a little bit and usually cut, because what is on the inside is
nothing.
So now that I pointed this out, you're gonna watch a whole bunch of stuff, and watch when people grab doors. We're gonna cut to the inside of them entering from a different angle because we don't want you to see this. This is gonna ruin the illusion. Feel free to take a look. We can't go all the way inside, but if you wanna poke your head in, come down here and change probably just one set of steps or the railings. If we're not gonna show the whole street in just somebody's one apartment, we will change just what the camera's gonna see. Lots of times, Malcolm and I will come out here, and one area will look bright and new and great, and then right next to it, it'll look all shambly. It means that they're only filming right here. So we'll see that a lot as well. But yeah, it looks like some work is being done here as well. Sometimes things are falling apart. Usually a stranger into an alley, but here we go. Some of the paint's starting to peel on this stuff, but definitely give this stuff a tap as well. Now, if anyone's a fan of Law and Order, CSI, a lot of bodies have been found right here, shows like that. We call this Murder Alley. That's actually the style of brick that we use in some of this stuff. It's called murder brick. They have all these different types of stonework that have different names. But yeah, we call it Murder Alley. 250,000 bodies have been found in this alleyway, just on Law and Order. This alleyway has also been featured in a lot of movies. If you saw Bruce Almighty, the scene where all the thugs, he uses his powers to take care of them. They filmed part of that in here too. The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield filmed in here. There's a scene right after Uncle Ben gets murdered. Sorry, spoilers. After he gets murdered, he's not even quite Spider-Man yet, but he beats up this guy. He's looking for a guy with a tattoo on his wrist. First guy he fights is in this alleyway. And since we're having stunts and stuff, throw somebody up into this stuff, it's not going to hurt quite as much as it would real brick. So we like our stunt people. All right, we'll head down this way a little further. See trams, we'll get out of the way. Also, as we round the corner, we're about to see one of the most recognizable filming locations. I'm sure some people will already know once they see it. Some people are formulating, some people said they know. This is a place we call Courthouse Square, but it's really famous from a movie called
Back to the Future.
There we go, Back to the Future. This was Hill Valley, California in Back to the Future. Yeah, that's it. What was your name? Steve. So Steve had a good comment. It looks bigger in the movie. All these sets actually will look a lot larger on camera because we use a technique called forced perspective. The buildings are all built in a way. Some few examples, especially when we walk around a little bit later, the windows will get smaller as they go up. It makes the camera think that things are a lot taller. Even if you take photos and videos on your phone, it's going to look larger on your phones than it will in person. Because we have two eyes, we have depth perception. Mainly because of the buildings and clever camera angles, we can make this space look a lot larger. But let's get a little bit closer look. Now, the only thing in here that's real is the grass, so we're going to try to stay off the grass, but let's...
Well, guess where I am? This is really, really cool. I'm at Hill Valley, the home of Back to the Future. And Marty driving the DeLorean down here at 88 to go back in time. And here's the community office, the municipal office with the clock tower. Pretty cool. We're here in 2009, we missed this, we saw it from a distance, but managed to make it this time around because they film in this area a fair bit. Anyway, I'm going to grab some photos because this is pretty cool.
In countless productions, Bye Bye Birdie, To Kill a Mockingbird, the first episode of The Twilight Zone, one of my favorite holiday movies, Gremlins, filmed here. This is the downtown area, Gremlins. This is definitely, even if you don't want to be in photos, a little quick photo, snapshots or video, you're going to see this in tons of productions. Some of these buildings haven't been changed that long. This area is about the same since the 50s. Definitely looks a little bit more flat than the buildings. But like I said here, actually one thing I'll point out, I was talking about how we can change everything to different locations. This building right here is a great example of how we don't really need to change stuff to make it two locations. If you look up top, it says Cuts and Shaves, a barbershop, I'm assuming. But if you look down at the window, Stromboli's Pizzeria. This is not the same business, I hope. Hope to God. But from far away, we're filming this direction, we're only going to see the Cuts and Shaves. So we'll see that it's a barbershop. We're not going to see that it's the pizzeria. But if we do this, you might see directors do this. This is what the camera's going to see. So we'll frame up the shot like this. Not going to see any of this. We'll see that it's a pizzeria, an actor goes in, grabs a pizza or something like that. So same location, two spots, which is kind of cool. We can easily do that stuff. We don't need to change the paint because we're not going to show it on camera. All right, we'll cut through here. Feel free once again. Now we're going to head on to what we call New York Street here in a second. It's the longest continual set that we have, but it's been every big city. It's been Chicago, it's been New York, it's been 1800s London, regular London. It's also been Gotham City before. So as we head through, welcome to New York, everybody.
filmed it.
Where they
Yep,
filmed
I
it?
see it.
A K-pop group came and they
Oh,
filmed the video.
Blackpink?
No, it was TXT, Tomorrow By Together.
Oh, they've done a couple, yeah.
Yeah.
Blackpink was out here recently. So if we're filming down one way or the other, you don't see that the street just ends. Because back this way, we came from that direction, there's just sound stages, and over here, there's some more sound stages. We cover it up, you wouldn't be able to tell on camera, but I mentioned a few productions that worked out here. This was Chicago and the Blues Brothers, which was on in the break room this morning. Yeah, as we got here, it was on. The scene that filmed here too, which is weird. It's been downtown LA in the Transformers movie with Shia LaBeouf, the first one. Let's see, Taylor Swift used that theater for a music video called While the Streams. Yeah. It's quite a bit. It was also down in for everyone's favorite Batman. Get ready. Batman and Robin. Have you seen that one when Arnold freezes the city as Mr. Freeze? This is the frozen cityscape. And they change all the buildings to have like these big chunks of ice, and they...
So get those cameras ready. We've got some fantastic picture cars coming up for you next on your left-hand side. Let's get some mood music going. And that's more like it. We've got some great selections, some classics like a young George Lucas's American Graffiti, Ford Deuce Coupe. You have the Magnum PI Ferrari by Tom Selleck. And from Paramount Pictures, we got Bumblebee. You got some great selections from Robert Zemeckis' Back to the Future Part 2. Check out those futuristic cars from the year of 2015. If you want something a little more eco-friendly, we've got our Flintstones vehicle all the way back from Bedrock. Take to the skies with one of our visitors from Warner Brothers, the Ford Anglia from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Too Fast, Too Furious, Blues Clues, great selections from both Jurassic Park and World Trilogies, both represented here. And from Jordan Peele's films, Jordan Peele and Monkey Paw Productions, we have the Fry's Electronics van from Nope. And we also have the Quad Daddy from Us, where Winston Duke fought a tethered version of himself. Now this tank-like vehicle is also visiting from Paramount. It's from Transformers. Technically, it's called the Bradley Infantry Fighting Vehicle. But I like to call it the plank tank here on the studio tour because it is mostly made out of wood. The reason I point out all these little details is because they're great examples of modifications, little changes made for our filmmakers to have an easier time to work with the vehicles themselves. Like the... We're now surrounded by some of the original props and set pieces from the original Jurassic Trilogy, which just turned 30 years old this last June. You've got the Mobile Lab, another picture car with the Lost World Jurassic Park. The last time we saw this vehicle, we pushed off a very big cliff. It was very angry T-Rex fans. So I am relieved to say that I don't see any signs of life around. There's a few bones, some empty cages, but interestingly enough, the Mobile Lab is much like some cars are. Oh no. Everybody, remain calm. Remain calm. Things got mad. Things like stop playing their music. And just like that, you made 30 seconds.
Pilgrims, we're going to head on into 6 points. So, 6 points got its name because originally it was 6 converging streets, all into a single point. And during the silent film era, this allowed filmmakers to make more than one movie all at the same time, because they didn't have to worry about noise interference. On your left-hand side, much more recently, this is Quentin Tarantino's ninth film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. This is where Leonardo DiCaprio is talking to Julia Butters about what it's like being a fading star in Hollywood, when they're both sitting on the director's chairs, and then he starts crying. It's a great scene. About 40 minutes of that feature film really took place outside here. That's a practical set, so you could film inside there, about the scenes of Lancer in that film. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really can't recommend it highly enough. It's fantastic. This area was also seen 1800s Australia in the opening sequence of Saving Mr. Banks. This was where Paul Farrell walks into the bank, saving Mr. Banks. And, oh my gosh, John Ford also got his start right outside here. 4-time Oscar-winning director. Really did. Union, kind of for them. So yeah, all the McHale's Navy, it's like 2 different generations. McHale's Navy, yes, and then Funhouse Bear Pants. It's like, kind of combines it all. It's a random time. Okay, so next up, because I know we got some huge, oh yeah. Oh sure, oh yeah, sure, oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. Going on, yeah, okay, great. Fantastic, so this is going to be our next Ollie Birdo. Oh, soundstage, oh, even better, okay, great. I'm figuring out what we're doing. Great, okay, so we're going to head over to our next off-trolley visit. No one else gets to do this, because I want to really hype this up. This is strictly VIP, so you can only go where we're headed to next if you're on a VIP tour or you work in the backlot. These are the newest sound stages in our backlot and in all of Hollywood. These are absolutely state-of-the-art. They built these right around 2020 when they sort of extended our theme park. And why don't we go inside? That seems pretty cool, right? Let's go inside a soundstage. Off to your right-hand side, I gotta point this out. This hillside, Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus. That is where Kirk Douglas stands up with all the soldiers in the famous scene of "I am Spartacus." No, I am Spartacus. Filmed right beyond those star wagons, right there on your right. And then before we go inside the soundstage, if anyone does need the restroom, this is gonna be another restroom stop. So go for it. Restrooms. Straight ahead of us, this hillside, I was kind of pointing this out in my group, those hills right on your right, that's like the universal backlot dead giveaway. You ever see those hills? And then they'll be like, yeah, here we are in South America. You're like, no, you're not. I didn't know those hills. But the other side of those hills, that's the Hollywood sign. So this is really backside of Hollywood. And then on your immediate right, so soundstage 43 right there, we are a stone's throw away from Warner Brothers. This is like the edge of the envelope of our backlot right here. You know what I think we need? I think we need some off-trolley exit music. That's what Isn't that crazy? Before we go inside though, very fun sort of both high-tech and low-tech special effect. So whenever you're watching some of your favorite shows and like the elevator doors open up perfectly, right, and it's like ding, it's a very lonely PA standing outside trying to make it in Hollywood. Yeah, I made it in Hollywood, Mom, I'm a door. So they're either watching a monitor or they're waiting for the queue line. And it's just like, oh yeah, well, have those papers on my desk at 8 a.m. And the doors close. Also, like sometimes on like Star Trek, you hear that shh, right? They're covering up that sound, and it's also very high tech. Yeah, so PA. Otherwise, follow me this way, Department of Defense. Oh, hey. Just like that, we are very, very deep underground. at the Department of Defense. You can kind of tell that we're deep underground, though. They sort of visually tell the audience that by that stonework right outside there. That's just very highly painted styrofoam. All the, you know, that's supposed to look like cement. That's all hollow. It's kind of a cool hollow on the paint. It looks like cement. And then we'll pause here real quick. So as you sort of exit the Department of Defense, right behind us, the tent right there, that's known as Video Village. That's where the director's gonna be sort of hanging out, seeing what the cameras are picking up inside the Department of Defense, and they'll kind of be like, oh, I like this, or move the camera, or whatever. Also underneath that little sort of wooden balcony, that's where the elevator is that I was kind of talking about, where they kind of open up. So, hero set, and then we can't go inside here, but you can get a glimpse. Swing set. So if the script calls for, oh, they got to go to a doctor's office, or they got to go to a dentist or whatever, they'll quickly build up the set for that particular episode. And then weeks later, you'll be like, man, wasn't that a fun tour I took with Nick and Malcolm? Remember this, all your favorite scenes in movies are inside a soundstage. The very first time you see the T-Rex, the animatronic, and it's raining, that's inside a soundstage. The very first time you see Marty McFly plays guitar, inside a soundstage. So this is really like movie making in general. It just looks like buildings with numbers on the side. All the movie magic happens inside a soundstage. So yeah. Was that too cheesy? That felt cheesy. A little cheesy.
Congratulations, folks. You just survived first. The sharp hardest.
You okay, Dom?
Congratulations, folks. You just survived first. The sharp hardest. I got this. Hi, Norman. Oh, your jacket is looking lovely today. Did your mother do? Oh no. Okay, don't talk about his mother. Don't talk about his mother. Okay. You know what, Norman? Just keep your distance. We're gonna keep ours. No, hey, what are you doing? Get down right now, Norman. Okay. Okay. Narrowly avoiding one disaster onto the set of a staged disaster. Welcome to the War of the World sets, directed in 2005 by Steven Spielberg and designed.
I'd really like to thank Malcolm. He was such a terrific guide, and he stayed with us all the way through to 4 o'clock. I've decided to do this video in 2 parts because it's just way too big. I'm going to do up to lunchtime, so we're going to do all the backlot in this video, and then we'll work through to the rides and all the fun stuff in the second video. But we went off for lunch at lunchtime. We had a big buffet lunch. It was terrific. We had some of the characters came in and we were able to get some photos, but the food was amazing. If you compared it to Warner Brothers, where you got like a really stale roll, it was pretty pathetic, really. This was amazing. Now, the tickets for the VIP tour for Universal are not cheap, but I think when you see how quickly we got through the rides, it actually made a lot of sense. So I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. Stay tuned for part 2, where we go through all the awesome rides, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. This is Trev, Dirt Road 4x4. See you soon.